Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Glad you've joined us here today. Milan Yerkovich is in the studio. This is a taped program because we are eating a lot of food today, hoping, not it's a big family gathering, not big, but we're hoping that you're safe and you're enjoying your family to some degree, whether by Zoom or actually in person. But hi, Milan. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Hi, Steve.
Had you told us you were going to do that, we could have supplied the tune to go with it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Happy
that's true.
Thanksgiving to you,
Yeah, right.
instead of just,
I'm
might not
thankful
have
for you
told you.
guys. Sometimes I don't know about your jokes, though, but
Are you talking about Steve's?
yeah, Milan.
I
Yeah,
agree. Steve's jokes are
You
just,
can think that, Milan.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that my humor's been questioned. But anyway, we're glad that folks are still around here. And, it is such a great holiday because it's just all about gratitude, relationship, sharing. And I think the other thing, I remember a few Thanksgivings where I wasn't in a place where I had family members around. Mm-hmm. And it does, either you just stay home and pout that you don't have anybody, or maybe it causes you to do something different, like go help, go volunteer, get around some other people that need you, and you're using the isolation or whatever you're going through as a really, really good invitation to get out of your comfort zone and reach out and help some other folks. I hope that happens for you. We're sorry if you're not with family. I always loved Jim Burns in the Thanksgiving. They would just have Chinese food because they could always get more Chinese food on Thanksgiving if more people came by, and he always encouraged people to come by. If you don't have any place to go, come have Thanksgiving.
Sorry for the turkeys.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but they loved having people over that didn't have any other place to go.
Yeah, that's
great.
great.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
Yeah. Anyway, really, really glad that
Thank you for not skipping over it like everybody else seems to be doing.
Yeah.
It's the one non-commercialized holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's a great time,
Mm-hmm.
and be sure you cook the bird to 160. We don't want anybody getting sick here. Don't cook the stuffing in there inside that bird. It's not safe. All right, 1-800-229-3000. You could join us on the program if you're watching on Facebook Live at this moment as we record it. But if not, just sit back and listen to the wild and wonderful things that we have people on talking about. In fact, I'm just going to go to our first caller right now, and that's Ashley from San Francisco, California. And then the second I say that, Ashley, the music starts. I thought I had a little more time than that. So hold on, and we'll get right to you here in just a bit. You're listening to New Life Live. It is a great day for Thanksgiving. Give thanks unto the Lord is a great way to start every day. Lord, thank you. I woke up today. Even though my parents did that little thing, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. But if I should die before, what a lovely thought to give your children right before
I used to pray that every
I
night.
know, me too.
If I
Holy
should
cow.
die. Okay, so you woke up. Let's be thankful that we are. We'll take a break and be right back after this for more of New Life Live. Really glad you're with us here today. Hold on.
Hi, this is Sheila Walsh. Do you find yourself at the end of this year just worn out Perhaps you find yourself so weary you don't know how to move forward. I want to invite you to a very special, unique one-day event on December the 5th called Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible. It will be my privilege to teach the sessions on the Bible. I want you to understand that the strength you're looking for, the peace that you're looking for, the hope you're looking for is found in the strength of the Word of God, the living Word of God. So please, will you join us on December the 5th? You simply have to call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Psalm 34 tells us the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Join us. Let's move into a new year with new strength in Jesus.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Milan Yerkovich, the author of How We Love. Dr. Jill Hubbard, the author of Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. And many of you are going to be in situations where you're going to need some help in forgiving after what happens here on Thanksgiving. We know that. So these are great. And also, you know, How We Love is also, the subtitle could be How We Got Here and what we're going to do about it. And that sometimes shows up on Thanksgiving. I said I'd go to Ashley. I'm going to go to her now. KFAX is the station she listens to. And hello there, Ashley. How can we help you today?
Hello. I want to know, what is your opinion regarding the bird nesting approach to home life for 3 young girls post-divorce versus having them shuffle between 2 residences, the parents' residences?
We were just talking about the concept of bird nesting in the at the break. Tell us what you think it is. This is where the kids don't move, the parents do, or right? Is that what
Correct.
You're referring to?
The children, it's a child-centric approach to home life after the situation, after a divorce, and the children are able to remain with their deep roots in their family home, and the parents either get a place, 2 studios or something like that, and they rotate. And so the children have, I feel like, what I understand, less disruption, less opportunities to say, I like it better at Dad's, I like it better at Mom's. Just they maintain their focus and their foundation. And I think that if the parents make it work, the parents have to get along, which I think we could choose. But it's also, I feel like it gives an example of this, in a very broken situation, an example of forgiveness and reconciliation. And yes, there are hard times, but we can still not lose everything.
Well, I'm going to say this, and then I'll turn it over to Milan and Jill. I can't imagine that is a bad idea in every case, that the kids get to stay there. They're not packing up and leaving. And so in some situations, I think that could really work well. Now, here's my bad attitude coming through. You ready? You'll spend so much, if the couple, and I know you're part of the couple, if the 2, and I know you're just one of the couple, but if the 2 could spend all that time trying to figure out how did we get in trouble here, and how do we not stay on this path, you'd be able to work things out. That's the frustrating thing, is that it's plan B, and so much time goes into plan B, and I'm just sorry that you don't have a partner that's willing to try to figure out how to do it differently and start over. That's what I feel badly about. But let's hear from Milan and Jill. What do you guys think?
Well, Ashley, this is actually something that I have advocated for people who are in the midst of separation, that are trying to reconcile, that instead of having the kids unnecessarily be jolted around, because certainly in the transition, when kids are going back and forth, regardless of what each household is like, it's difficult for them. And usually one parent or the other complains about how it was so hard to settle the kids down after they were at dad's or after they were at mom's, to get back into a rhythm with the new parent. And that's because it is really hard on kids going back and forth. So I do like the idea. Post-divorce, I think, it's not going to work for every family. And as Steve was saying, there has to be a certain, and you too, there has to be a certain amount of cooperation. And some families just can't do that, right? But to be able to cooperate as to what is best for the kids and being able to work together. And you have to be able to trust each other to a certain degree to be sharing this home, really, is what you're doing, even if you're not there at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Milan, you have a thought about bird nesting here?
Well, is that the whole question, Ashley? I'm a little, you sound like you're sold on the idea, and I don't know what it is you're asking.
My concern is that my husband and I are getting a divorce because of sexual integrity issues on his part. He's been to Every Man's Battle twice, and also as an alum, it has opened him up so much. I mean, that is an amazing program. I encourage him to continue to go as many times as he needs to, because it is effective. But with our work with our counselor, and he's saying he can't face the wreckage, and he wants to move on. And our marriage counselor that focuses on this issue said to me that he might not be a safe, intimate partner for me long term, at least not at this time. And so I have not had a choice. This has been put on to me. But I worry now that now he's leased a Tesla, and has a new house, and the kids are like, we love it over at Dad's. He just kind of took them, and we're 1 week on, 1 week off. But I just feel like it's created this huge divide, and it doesn't feel right to me.
Okay.
I feel like he wrecked it on the fly rather than try to rectify. And
way to go, Milan, in trying to find out what's really here.
Well, this represents a big loss to you, because to have, of course, we've all seen this before, Ashley, because, you end up with one parent looking like the good guy or the good mom, and, the kids don't often know the issues underneath. And how old are these three girls?
13, which is the hardest one right now, 10 and 8.
Okay. So they're still all, prepubescent or children, and they can't understand this. They're only going to see fun, a new car, a new house, and Dad is going to do whatever he does. And I don't know, and I could see why it would be really threatening for you, with your husband being the perpetrator of this horrible thing that's crushing your marriage, and for him to be the hero of the girls.
Well, and seducing the girls, right? In a sense.
If in fact,
to his side.
If in fact he is doing that, yes, that would be very difficult, and it would be difficult to watch on your end. Now, I don't know if he would, the question I'm asking is, what question are you asking? I mean, bird nesting could be a really good idea. I don't know if he would cooperate. Would he?
He's sounding like he doesn't want to. Perhaps he thinks I might cramp his style. I'm very much the more faith-based, pin your odd socks, get off the computer kind of parent. And but I worry that I don't know what they're thinking. One of you astutely said that these kids are hurting. He's like, they don't have any problem with this. They love to get out of that house. That house causes them all this anxiety. It's just.
Well, let me ask you a question.
I worry that they're. Yeah.
You said the therapist said he might not be a safe partner for you. Is he safe for the girls to be with?
I do not have, and we did talk about that, and I think that he can compartmentalize. I haven't seen any evidence of him crossing a line So that's my concern is more on a level where he wants to save face long term if ever the children know why. I've protected him because I can't talk about this with my children. But I'm worried that he's going to try to befriend them and win them over to save face down the road and manipulate the situation to my disfavor.
He will befriend them, and in a divorce, it is a hostile dissolution of a contract. It's hostile. So he will see things his way. You will be, in his eyes, the bad guy. And, and similarly, he is the bad guy in your eyes. So each of the parents will vilify often. They will vilify the other person. And what the kids have to do, you can't prevent that. You can't stop that. You can't all of a sudden create an insertion of a certain conscience into your husband to be this way. He's going to be who he is. And you can't also be the person that detoxifies him and say, what did he say? What did he say? What did he say? What did he tell you this week? All you can do is be a wonderful mom and let your girls develop their opinions over time. And that may not happen for another 10, 15, 20 years.
Ashley, it's really hard. I call it antagonistic parenting because it's like you're not working often for the same end goals, or you see the means to that end very, very differently. And this is part of the fallout of divorce. Is that, he's going to be pleading his case with the girls. And what it does, too, divorce pulls one parent, often the mom, out of being the middleman or the buffer of all the relationships in the household. And now your kids, instead of you protecting them from dad's flaws, they're with dad directly. So in one sense, they have a more direct relationship with him because it's not filtered through you. But at the same time, they are exposed to things. And, I always say that kids learn from the things parents do well and from the things they don't do well, right? And so they will start to see a contrast in the parenting. And depending on who they are and their level of maturity, and ability to be honest with themselves, hopefully they're not going to always side with the Disneyland parent, right? That they will see, that what you're doing for them is offering them stability and that they need that.
I appreciate that. And I don't think that he's saying bad things about me. I think at the start we kind of let a few words like that slip, but we've been very mindful of speaking directly because we know it gets back to the other parent and we don't want to be those people. But I think that it's a little bit more finesse of him trying to woo that. And I'm really worried about that I'm going to lose my kids. They think I'm the bad one. Why did you, Mom, you're so mean. You had to tell dad to do this. And I think he played the victim. And it's just, and they saw me before I realized of the addiction. They saw me coping in a way of like betrayal trauma I've learned about through the Intimate Deception book. But they saw me reacting like that for many years. And I didn't know what was going on. And so that's also up against me.
Quick thing here. He went to Every Man's Battle. Did you guys ever go to Intimacy in Marriage?
We did not.
Because, I'd love to see people turn things around, and I've seen so many people that were where you are, literally, where you guys are in your relationship, and the wife says to the guy, if we're going to do this, we need to go to this marriage thing so we can get on the same page with each other, raising these girls, and before it's over, they're back together again. And I'm just wondering if there would be any openness on his part to join you for that. It's online, so you don't even, it's unique in that way. Would he be willing to sit through a day like that and look at some things? Because here's what I'm afraid of. you want him to agree that the girls, to go through this divorce, they need both of you, and that neither of you should be making the other person the bad person and you the good person. When you drive that Tesla with the girls, he needs to say, well, your mom, I'm sure she would love this, and it's really sad that we're going through a divorce and we've got to get another car like this, but I just want you to know this is a fun car, but that doesn't mean I'm better than your mother, or just something that where you're tempering that taking of sides. I would love to see you guys join us for that. Even if it's the last thing you ever did, it could change everything for you going forward. I mean, it's so powerful. Anyway, I'm going to send you How We Love. That'll help you with the girls. Really sorry for what you're having to go through.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we're talking with Ashley. Ashley, I just hate it that you guys are divorced and going through all of this. Man, it's really tough. And so we've got some thoughts here. And having been where you've been, I spent a really good amount of time till someone told me not to. They said, don't try to make the other person look like the bad person.
Mm-hmm.
And if once you stop trying to make the other person look like the bad person, you might be able to get over this. That was really good advice, because I needed that advice. It's so tempting. But I just hope and pray. Well, we have a couple of things to talk to you about on your conversation with the kids.
So I'll jump in first, Milan, and you can wrap it up. Ashley, we were just saying how, when you're the person who's been cheated upon, besides all of your own reactions, right? And in a scenario where he, is trying to look as good as he can with the kids, it's really unfair for you to be the one that looks like the meanie, that looks like the bad guy, that looks like the one that is squelching dad's fun. And the kids don't really understand. I think more honesty is better, And, you don't have to tell all the details, to be honest. But I think to give the kids a sense, people don't divorce for no reason, right? And it would be best if it came from him, that if he were able to say, Dad made bad choices and I dishonored your mom. And I'm really sad about that because I've hurt you girls as well. To give them some explanation, or the two of you together, or for you to be able to talk about Dad made some bad choices. And unfortunately, this is where we're at. And let them ask questions.
And with those bad choices, I could not tolerate living together anymore.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Because it was harmful to me and to you ultimately.
Right.
In many respects to the children as well. And I would really work on, with the therapist, the phraseology on that, even as a couple.
Yes.
See, I think couples that are quote-unquote divorced can still go to therapy together, and because they're having to co-parent.
Oh, yeah.
And the fallacy of divorce is, well, we're divorced. No, you're really not. With those three little 13, 10, and 8-year-old, you were tied at the hip for the rest of your life.
The gift that keeps on giving.
It keeps on giving, even into grandparenting and the whole thing. They're tied together. So to be able to also create something, and so I would have two thoughts for Ashley. Number one, to really construct some phraseology around here to say this was a reaction to some things that happened in which I was not honored and respected, and it appeared as though your dad was unwilling to change those things. Number two, Ashley, I would also be willing to say, and here's some ways that I'm growing, like maybe I'm overly controlling. Maybe I've been created too much structure in our home. I just get some hints of feeling about that. And so I am working on that as well as a mom. I want to work on that part of me. So I just think it's important for us to look at ourselves as well as to be able to describe the relationship and say, you kids are caught as victims here and it's not fair to you, but we want you to have, and I love what you said, Jill, they need more information.
Right.
And
well, you want to validate kids' reality, and
yes.
If they're experiencing things at one level, but the words are different than that, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Why would people get divorced over flimsy reasons, right? It would have to be major to tear a family apart.
Well said.
Right? So, yeah, I'm into validating kids' reality for
Absolutely.
sure, so that they don't feel crazy.
Right.
Along those same lines, one of the worst things that I think anybody can say is when you're about to divorce and you're going to tell the kids and you say this, I just hate it when I've heard this done. Your mother and I love each other, but, well, really? It's just so confusing.
Right.
So confusing. It's kind of like I don't know, but
we love each other, but
hard.
we can't live together. Well, what is that? Love's supposed to conquer all, right?
Right.
Steve, and to your point, this is really a great point. I don't think that divorces have to be permanent.
Yeah.
I have seen people work hard. Not all situations works out this way, but I've seen when couples decide, okay, we're divorced. Well, you don't have to stay that way. You could work and continue, like you said, invited them to a New Life Marriage Intensive weekend, and they could start to learn things that would help them understand their core pattern in the relationship, all the stuff that was going on, their histories, and how those histories affected them and their relationships. I happen to be a believer in remarriage if people work hard enough and earn their way back in.
And if you have developed the supernatural forgiving gene, let's say she had an affair. Well, most affairs last 6 months. So there you are, and so now you guys have separated, and now you're divorced. How's that going? And would both of you consider getting some help, and perhaps for the sake of everything good, work out the problems date again and see if you might be able to pull it back together. It's a long process, but you're going to go through a long process whether you marry or not.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, December 5th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. And we were just talking at the break, and I think it's worth mentioning that you can learn to do some things late in life that you didn't know you needed to learn to do early in life, and you can change. You know, when a person goes to Every Man's Battle, almost every person that goes changes. I mean, you've really got to have some issues to not get better with Every Man's Battle, whether it's you didn't work deep enough or you didn't protect yourself enough when you left. There's still things that can be done. But at the break, we were talking about, Milan, how did you say it? What to be with or sit and listen when it's not easy? What was the? How did you say that?
Well, I was saying you can work on any addiction, and you can learn why it's not a good thing. And I love what Jason and the team does at Every Man's Battle, that your wife is the bride. You know, she's special. This is what God wants, et cetera, et cetera. And you can walk away from that and you can say, yeah, that's right. I need to not be looking at other people. I need to be looking and focusing here because this is the right thing to do. But that's half the battle. The other battle is sitting down with your spouse and learning to talk, learning to hear their emotions, learning to share your own. Mm-hmm. And Kay and I worked very hard for 3 years learning to do this, and it was painstaking. Mm-hmm. But it is worth every moment of the work that we put into it. To learn new skills. These are skills that people never have learned because their families didn't teach them emotional intelligence. School didn't teach them relational intelligence. No place is it taught. It should be taught in the church, but it's not. I'm very upset about that. Globally, the church doesn't know how to teach people to skillfully learn to communicate with one another and bear one another's burdens. They don't teach how to do that.
Okay, so here's what I think happens.
I'm preaching now. You know,
no,
I'm ready to pound the table here.
But here's one of the problems. You said it took you guys 15 years.
3.
Okay.
3.
3 years.
Yeah.
15 years to get in a mess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we recognized there was a problem at the 15-year mark. We got frustrated to the point where we said we got to do something.
And what I was just going to make the point is that, and then, so a lot of people bail out at 14 years when if they had stayed into the 15th, they would have gone to work in a different way. Or for somebody else, it would take 5 years, but they divorced at 4 years. And if they had just hung in there, that makes the case for looking at maybe we need to give this thing a second look, because you get divorced, maybe you start to see some things about yourself as a contributor to the problem that you didn't before the divorce. So we just need to be open to that healing process. But I know Misty and I, there are just certain things that we're able to do after 15 years that if, we hadn't been around for 15 years, we left at 10 or something, we would have never, ever gotten to this point. I think a lot of people have experienced that. All right, let's jump over here to Becky, Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, Becky. How you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, and how can we help today?
All right, I had to get off speaker. This is my situation. My son, I raised him as a single parent, and we were real close to my family. That's just who we socialized with. And when we went off to college, he pretty much broke the apron strings, and it's been, pretty distant since then.
Uh-huh.
So he's 37. Him and his wife have been married 2 years, and they're having their first baby today via C-section, and I can't be there because of COVID. But they're so distant. We're not estranged, but he rarely returns my phone calls. And since COVID, it's been worse because they won't invite us over. If I take a COVID test, I will be allowed to see the baby once it's born. But so I'd like to ask God to pray for the baby, but also to help me understand what I can do to be part of the baby's life. I've gotten used to not being part of his life because apparently that's the way he wants it,
Well, tell us why. Give us some insight here as to why he feels the way he does.
Well, he's never talked about it, but I think part of it is we were so close. I did anything he wanted when he was little. I spoiled him. I drove around all his friends, and I thought he had an idyllic, life. And he was close to his daddy because he saw him regularly. He was close to my family. But, after he went off to college, I had to leave our home and move in with my mother because it was his dad still on the house, and I had to help raise my niece who lost her mother. And along the way, she just started keeping a lot of cats. She started hoarding animals. The house smelled terrible, so I wouldn't let Matthew bring anybody home. So he never felt like it was his home. Because when I moved in with her, he was away at college. So he just felt like he lost his home, and I think he resented me for that.
So
and
when let me ask this. So when you said to him, I feel like we've so drifted apart, and I so love you. Tell me, please, how I could make it better. I'm so sorry about the way things were with the cats and all, or something like that. What's his? Have you done that? Has he told you what really hurts him, or not?
I tried to talk to him about it, and I told him because I have a new home. I said, I'm living in a new home. I'm not allowing. She's still living with me because she has depression problems, even though she's grown. I said, I'm not allowing her to have cats in the house. It's a place you can be proud of, to bring your wife. But he just says, oh, that's fine. It's okay. So he acts like everything's fine. But I may hear his voice maybe once a month, which to me seems so extreme because he was an only child. But she is not close to her family, his wife. And I tried to leave him alone. God has put a protection on my heart so I wouldn't cry every day.
Yeah, all right. So let's see what Milan and Jill have to say about a situation.
Becky, I feel sad for you because, as a mom, it's like that is a huge part of your, job in life, right? Is being a mom, and to have had, an only child. So you're putting a lot into this child's life.
Yes.
It is, once they grow up, the hard part for moms is like all of a sudden we've worked ourselves out of a job, and we weren't necessarily wanting to do that, even though we want our kids to launch. Your son is 37 years old now, and as you know, being a guy, it's not uncommon for men to kind of have gotten what they needed from mom, gotten a lot of good stuff, and to in some ways move away from mom. Moms, we tend to make our kids feel younger, and so they're not always needing that, especially into adulthood. Also, when a son marries, moms are we're our son's first love, so to speak. And then when a woman comes into a man's life, the allegiance does switch. And that's a hard thing to now be in the second seat and not in the first seat. And so...
Well, that's why I try not to bother him. I try to stay away and not, let him call me.
Right.
Which doesn't happen.
So that's, where, having friends and things that you can lament to about this and, grieve the changing, that it might not ever be the same as it was when they were young. But it doesn't mean that you have to be totally distant with them either. But it does sound like you guys have different needs when it comes to connecting.
Well, let me ask this. Milan, you're so big on the repair in a marriage. So what's the best mother-son repair strategy that maybe she could benefit from?
Well, I think, Becky, you need to realize you're no longer his mom. You're no longer mommy. You're no longer mother in the sense of what I encourage you. I mean, for this cause, a man shall leave his father and mother, shall cleave to his wife, the two shall become one flesh. Mm-hmm. The word to leave means to just rupture, and pun intended with the C-section today, it's the word to cut the umbilical cord, and it means to cut or sever. Now, if you begin to approach him as an adult friend, that's different. Just say, I would just, and please do call him from time to time. Mm-hmm. Let him know you are interested, and just say, you're 37. I want to establish an adult friendship with you. And I'd like to, visit more. And especially as a new grandma, I'm very excited about this. So I'm not trying to be your mommy. I do want to be your friend. And I want to be a friend to your wife. And to really approach him as an adult, and to never use, as I love what you said, Jill, we tend to make them younger than what they are. To really, to avoid all that and to really approach him as an adult friend.
We'll be back. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and so often we hear people saying, I know I need something, but I don't know what it is. Well, we've put together the perfect experience for you. It's called Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible. You're going to hear Dr. Daniel Amen, Dr. Henry Cloud, Dr. John Townsend, Sheila Walsh, and myself, Steve Arterburn.
In this online workshop, you'll participate in general sessions, then break out into groups. These groups, facilitated by licensed Christian counselors, are where true life change happens. You'll take what you've heard in the main sessions and begin to process the areas of your mind and emotions that have kept you stuck. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Please consider joining us December the 5th for Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible.
Register today to begin experiencing life in a new way. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800. New Life.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Anything else we want to say to Becky here, you guys? I like what you said about, going back to him in that way. The other thing, another approach, if that doesn't do well, is you just assume that it's okay that you're going to be able to see the baby and make it all about coming to see the baby. And as you're seeing the baby, you're saying healthy things to your son that gets him to see that you just want a place there. You don't want to control him. You don't want to be really intrusive into his life. You just want a little bit of a place to be a grandmommy and take it from that perspective.
And a new baby is a perfect segue into being more involved. They were kind of a young newlywed couple. Now they have a baby. But, make friends with his wife. That
kidding.
is going to be key. You want to be on her team.
Great idea.
Never say anything negative about that wife ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to send you Jill's book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, too, because I think that can help you have some insight as to what he might need to do to be able to forgive you for whatever thing he's holding against you. It is Thanksgiving Day. One of the things I'm so grateful for is Larry Sonnenberg. He's in the studio. Larry, I am so grateful for all you've done for New Life, and I have been praying that God would allow you to live another 100 years. But but staying in the present, how could folks help us here today on Thanksgiving Day?
Steve, I was trying to think of something to share that just kind of represented gratitude as much as I could, because it is Thanksgiving. It's a big deal. And there's one testimony I've read before, but I want to read it because, and I'll tell you why after I read it. But I want you to listen closely to what she's saying. She says, I'm a nurse and frequently need to have candid conversations that are not always welcomed but are vital. I strongly believe that without the work of you and your side colleagues, I would be seeing more suicide attempts, more child abuse cases, more battered wives, more psychiatric admissions. You guys are the Navy SEALs of nursing. I have a donation today of $490 because you all give 70 times 7 in grace. And that's what the world needs more of. Thanks for your courageous voice. It's much easier to give than seek help. And our mission is to help people transform their lives. And I think God's doing a great work at that. He's using this ministry to do that. But I love that she's looking at this as a preventive ministry as well.
Right. Yeah.
She's not seeing suicide attempts, child abuse cases, battered wives, and psychiatric admissions because of what this ministry does. And so, folks, thank you for that. All of you who give to New Life, you get the thanks. And just want you to pray about and think about continuing your giving as the year comes to a close. And just God bless you and have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we are thankful for all of you who support us, and if you can't support us financially, please pray for us, and we're so grateful. We know that God has his hand on this ministry. It's pretty amazing, some of the things that have happened this particular year. Just help us continue to help others. 1-800-NEW-LIFE or newlife.com. Thank you, Larry Sonnenberg, and as I said, so grateful for you and for your wife, Rhonda, and all that you do for New Life.
Right back at you, Steve.
Thank you. I did want to give you time to say that. Now let's go to Rachel, Los Angeles, California. Rachel, you are on with Milan, Jill, and Steve. How can we help you today? You're our final caller, but I did want to get to that call.
Hi, I just had a question. I'm trying to put boundaries with my parents regarding the holidays. And I guess I'm just trying to make sense of how I can justify doing that.
How do they cross boundaries of yours inappropriately? How does that happen? What do they do?
Well, my mom always kind of demands that I have my own family, that we go over their house for the holidays. We don't really even have like a choice of what's going to happen, but she tells us when and how long we're going to be there, which is basically all day on Christmas Day and Thanksgiving, and most of the time Christmas Eve also. And I guess my dad's an alcoholic, and my mom has been married to him for almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like this big fake kind of game every time I'm over there, where everyone has to pretend that everything is not happening. And my mom is sometimes more abusive than my dad, even though he's the alcoholic.
All right, I don't have a lot of time. Let's start with you, Milan. How does Rachel tell her mother we're not doing that this year?
Well, Rachel, I've been through this myself as a young dad. Once upon a time, we had to go to 3 different families, and it was really difficult. And one day, we decided 3 families, because my wife's mom and dad were divorced and remarried, so we had to make this, tour every holiday. And one day we just said, you know what, we're going to state that we are having Christmas Day at our home, and they are welcome to join us, but we simply told them Christmas Day is going to be at our house. We're going to be at home on Christmas morning. And we just simply had to tell them what we were doing and to declare what it was we wanted to create as a new tradition in our home. And so it is simply an assertion or a statement. This is what we've decided. And to invite them over maybe in the afternoon or, at noon for lunch and whatever, but to create your own traditions. I think it's going to be very important. And then you have to have the courage to say it. Because if your mom is controlling and or abusive, it's a very fearful thing to speak to that person and tell them you're going to do something different than they are requiring. And
they're not going to like it.
They're not going to like it. Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
So you just have to be prepared that they're going to push back and maybe become more demanding because we've always done it this way kind of thing. And it works for mom. But families, as you grow up, and you said you have your own family now, and as kids come into the mix, it has to shift. The baton has to be tossed. And so however you carve that up, you need to have time for your family, right? So maybe there's some compromises. Go ahead.
So why wouldn't you do that? What are you afraid would happen if you just said, oh, we're not going to be able to do that this year. We've got our own traditions we're doing this year. We're starting them this year. Why would that be difficult for you?
Well, I actually did already say that pretty much. Yeah. But since then, I've had a lot of backlash of, like, my mom kind of just being really mean and, like, making fun of me for going to therapy, talking bad about my marriage and to my whole family. And so it's been, like, a backlash.
Yeah.
But she's still demanding that we make a way to be there on Christmas Eve all day, to still be with them, even though she's been saying all these really hurtful things to me. Like, she still wants me to go.
Why would you accommodate being with somebody that says mean things and is just trying to manipulate and control you versus really want you to be there? I want to tell you this. You have to not go. You just, for your sanity the rest of the year, you will be so proud of yourself that you say, I'm not going to give in to her control and manipulation. We're going to have our own traditions. My wife's mom and dad said, hey, look, don't worry about us. You guys do what you want to do with your new family, and we'll just be flexible here. That's the way it needs to be. All right. Man, I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back. I think it's going to really help you here. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Milan. So thankful for you guys and being on with me. A lot of people won't, so thank you for you doing it.
Thank you, Steve.
We love you, Steve.
We do.
Yeah. And all of you, thanks for listening. Hope you have a great day today. Hope you don't choke on a turkey bone or anything like that. Know the Heimlich. See you next time.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.